Hey everybody, it's Chris, and as promised in last night's Deputy review, today I have the River Pro from Latitude64. The River Pro is going to be the Fairway selection for the Trilogy Challenge this year. It's a 1.8 centimeter rim, so it's just a little bit narrower than, say, the Convict or the GL Spark. So if you have smaller hands, or if you just prefer a smaller diameter fairway, this is going to probably be a great option for you. In this video, you'll get to see me throw it in a field. You get to see Dan Mouw throw it against the GL Spark and the Lucid Convict. You get his opinion of the disc. Then you get to see me throw it against the GL Spark and the Lucid Convict. And then you'll see a little bit of coursework as well. To break it down, I think this thing holds a very, very similar line to the Lucid Convicts I'm currently throwing. On a hyzer, they're very similar results. Distance-wise, I get just a little bit more out of the Lucid Convict, but it is a higher speed disc, so that's to mostly be expected. But when I say mostly, I did have one just absolute crush with one of these Opto River Pros. It went about 382 feet, which for me in a fairway is really good. And you get to see that on film. But yeah, this thing holds lines. I can throw it on an ante, pans out and settles nicely. I can throw it on a hyzer, and it just knifes down and and it will skip out. And on a straight line, I think that's where it's just meant to be, those nice straight line throws with just a tiny bit of hyzer finish at the end. And if you saw my preview on the Lat fan page today, you're going to see that finish toward the basket at the very end of this video. But this is a disc you can throw on a line and expect it to keep it. It's going to be an excellent addition to the stable fairway selections for the Trilogy groups. So yeah, check it out. Why does it have me most excited? Because it is a Trilogy Challenge disc. I've already liked the Deputy. For an understable putter, I thought it was very comfortable in the hand, easy to throw, easy to putt with. I'm loving the River Pro. I think it's probably the best Trilogy Challenge fairway for me so far. And I haven't even touched the Pine yet, but if it's half as good as I've been told it's going to be, this is going to be a great selection of discs for new players and experienced players alike. So, River Pro from Latitude64. It's going to be a fairway. Again, very comparable to the Convict or GL Spark for me. So we'll go to the footage, lots of comments there, but as always, if you have questions or want to know anything, put them in the comments for me so I can get back to you. And look out for I think the Beetle is my next review coming out, and then hopefully we'll get some more discs coming soon. So hope you enjoy. Thanks. Alright, so out to the field with our River Pros. First couple throws are about 70-75% power, and you're going to see me put just a little bit of torque on them. They're going to correct themselves and come back to middle. Both of these throws are right in the 330-340 range. The second set of throws was again powered down a little bit. I was worried about the walkers out in the distance, so I didn't go full power. But you can see the very nice straight line, and then on the pink, again, just a little bit of flex, a little more distance on it. Again, just a super smooth flight out of these discs. On this last set, I wanted to throw at least one in a turnover shot, and here you'll get to see it force over. And it's going to finish in line with the corner of the church, just holds that line beautifully. And then the second shot is definitely a power shot for distance with a fairway for me. Gave it a nice anti-flex and just let it glide forward and finish. And it was just over 375 feet. I was pretty impressed. Next up, I went out to the field with Dan Mouw to give these a run. The side-by-side is so that you can see the finish of the discs. I was playing with the zoom and didn't do a very good job, but you can get an idea of where both of them came down. Both distance and line were pretty similar for this throw. Dan's second set of throws are going to put the GL Spark with the River Pro. Both are going to go on a slightly outside hyzer line, but you're going to see the GL Spark just has a little more stability, a little bit more angle as it starts to come down, and is going to fade a little bit harder as well. Dan's third set of throws is going to be Convict versus River Pro again, and the Convict is going to get more height on this throw, so it's going to end up fading out more to the left. But what I thought was kind of neat again was that the overall distance forward was pretty similar for the two discs. And here you get Dan's own thoughts. What do you think of the River Pro?
River Pro, I think, is a pretty awesome disc. Feels really good in the hand. It's got a nice, the rim feels a lot, not necessarily more shallow, but it feels like a thinner rim than some of the more overstable fairway drivers for what it is. It was had a lot more stability than what I thought it was going to. Had a lot of good glide to it. So that's a pretty good disc. That's another one that might give a couple of the discs in my bag a run for its money.
Thanks. Alright, so here I am starting my field tests, GL Spark versus River Pro. Both have a very similar line and release. Spark might have had just a touch more height, but it was really close. But even from the first throw, I had the feeling that the Spark was just a touch more overstable than the River Pro. The second video is Convict versus River Pro. You're going to see both of these discs come out very nice and flat, flip out just a little bit to the right, and then eventually fade over to the left and settle down nicely, with the River Pro just slightly right of the Convict, but very similar flights. The third comparison is going to be again with the GL Spark. This is going to be a higher hyzer line, and again you'll be able to see the Spark just has a touch more overstability than the River Pro, which is actually going to cause it to end up farther right. That's because it's coming down in a harder angle, whereas the River Pro is coming down a little bit softer. The final comparison has the Convict in it again on a slightly flatter throw. The Convict has a little more height to it, but these discs will finish within 5 feet of each other, which was pretty common. I find the River Pro to be very similar in flight to the Convict, although it's a slightly thinner rim and a little bit slower. I did get a couple shots of the River Pro while I was in Cameron, Missouri on that pit stop that I took. Here you can see me overthrowing the 325-foot basket pretty bad. And the second shot, you dial it in. That was a little bit left, but this was a much better shot. You can see how nicely this disc holds that line. On to Roseville, Minnesota at Acorn Park. My goal on this next two shots is to get a fairly straight throw that fades into the gap. As you can see, this first one gets knocked down by a tree, but the second one holds a very nice line and actually manages to punch into the second fairway. As I mentioned in the preview, I really think these straight throws are where the disc excels. You can see just the nice, slightly tipped over flight that's going to fade back brilliantly right to the pin for an easy putt. The last two videos will be from the catch cam angle. You'll get to see the first one go flying by on the left while the second one parks the basket. But while you're watching those, I just want to say thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, if it was informative, please feel free to hit like, share it, or even subscribe to the YouTube page. But again, the River Pro, beautifully stable fairway. It's going to match up well with the Convict or GL Spark.